Radical.
Welcome to Flea Market Stories. Stories of one man's journey into the world of flea marketing. On this day, I got there about maybe 30 minutes before official start time, and I realized that I gotta up my game now. We're getting into warm weather, and I gotta sleep a little earlier, get to sleep a little earlier, so I can get up early and really get there around probably an hour before they open. Because you see, what happens is the places where you back your car in are quite narrow. And my Impala is kind of a big vehicle. And I'm not the best judging for distance, specifically when I'm backing up. So I guess I was a little bit lucky that I was far off this day from the busy area, because I was able to back in a little easier. So that's one pro tip for you. If you flea market, try to get there as early as possible, so you can line your car or truck up and not have to worry about other people and where they park their cars and trucks. Because you see, they might misjudge their distance and you might not have a whole lot of room to kind of get in there. And remember, you got to have room to be able to open your doors to left and right, especially if you're bringing out heavy items and have your clearance. Now, one reason that I back in is it makes it easier because you could pop your trunk and load and unload that way from your tables when you're getting ready to leave. But also, there's been this issue the past previous couple weeks with some Mexicans who, for some reason, have parked their cars behind mine and some others because they're working on the vehicles. Maybe car audio, I'm not sure. I would ask them questions, but they really don't speak of the English. So, I had to motion to them last couple weeks that I was leaving, and I had no issues with them starting up the car and leaving, but it's still kind of an annoying thing. It is. So that's one reason I'm trying to get to the better tables away from that general area. Okay. So this day started out. Number one, I was feeling pretty good, and I guess it might have been something as simple as cutting out manufactured citric acid. For some reason, Propel water has been making me throw up. And I think it's the manufactured citric acid. So yeah, look that up. A lot of you that know about that kind of stuff. Why would manufactured citric acid cause me to have stomach issues, throw up, and I think I would feel bloated or water retention? I'm not sure after manufactured citric acid. But anyways, one of the first sales of the day was, of course, for the gaming magazine guy. Gaming magazine guy came by, and he bought all 19 of my gaming magazines I had for sale. And he had the follow-up question, ask me, about the magazines, where I got them, if some of these magazines I had, like I grew up with these gaming magazines. And, I don't want to give specific answers to a lot of these questions. So, I forget what I told him, but I kind of felt like he was wondering, why is it you have all these gaming magazines available every single week? Well, I probably have 100 left, and after I get rid of the gaming magazines, he's not going to, maybe might come to the table anymore, right? So the idea is to kind of get him off of the gaming magazines into buying some of my other magazines, if specifically he is a reseller. So I might point to some of my other magazines I have for sale. What am I telling him? Well, I am telling him, which is not completely a lie, it's part truth, that I do have boxes to go through from the hoarder house that I cleaned out last year. And there very well might be some gaming magazines in those boxes, whatnot. But he did buy, I think, 19, maybe 25 is what I offered them to him. I don't want to give him too much of a discount because I charge for 2 each. But since he's buying everything every week, I do hope he's a reseller and not just a hoarder. Like I said last week, that I'm just actually kind of adding to the problem. What I found when it comes to flea marketing is you can't help but dip your toes into the pool of hypocrisy when it comes to something like, I've spoken out against hoarding, how people shouldn't hoard, but The pure nature of the flea market is the idea is you want to get sales. By the very definition of why you're there to succeed and get sales. And it just so happens that you would hurt their potential to sell if you're telling somebody, whoa, stop. You sure you really want to buy all those video games? You sure you want to buy all those magazines? Of course, you're not going to do that. But sometimes I would stop and just think, when is enough for these particular people that are buying these items? So I've actually started to try to limit in a way what some of these people can actually buy by not having everything that they're buying at one time. So the other of two notable things from this day was the fact that I sold something I would rarely ever sell, which is I have this little bin, a little plastic black bin of random cards, comic cards. I bought some plastic sheets online, and my idea was I would take these DC, Marvel, a lot of these common cards, I would put them in these plastic sleeves, and I would sell them for $0.25 each. And they're probably not worth $0.25. Some of these cards are maybe not worth like a nickel, but and this is where we get to the category of selling things for a profit, because the goal there is to make a profit. But I thought, well, someone's going to buy a couple quarter cards. It's really not going to hurt their bank account a whole lot. And if they buy the lot, then I would probably give it to them a little bit more than cost. But again, let me stress, when you become a flea marketer or a businessman, your goal is to make profit off of people. See, it's what I'm learning to realize is there's no easy way to not dip your toes into the pool of hypocrisy. There's really not. When it comes to life. And when it comes to YouTube, well, sure, I could stay squeaky clean on YouTube, but I don't know. Some of you ever get this feeling if you're flea marketing, right? But this guy, I gave him a great deal. I said, well, $25. I think I came back down to 20 for about, I want to say close to 200 of those. And then I think to myself, when it comes to this, and he did buy them for $20, right? He's going through them and he's making stacks, and he's like kind of separating the cards. And I asked him a question, which is like, well, you big into the Marvel or big into the DC or whatnot? And he replies yes, but I think maybe he kind of is on to me that I'm thinking, well, is he a reseller too? And that's one thing that I will get into maybe in the future. I don't have time right now to really work into this particular episode, but trying to spot a reseller versus a actual natural buyer. That's an art, that's a skill, because knowing that will actually tell you a lot about your strategies to sell things. So yeah, $20 for all that. I don't know, maybe I could have lost some money, like on the plastic sleeves, because all these cards were in plastic sleeves. So I'm thinking in the future, I'm probably just going to do binders, folders of cards, and put one price on them. And then, maybe they might haggle down from that price. Or if I have some of these cards set out, I'm not going to have more than 100 at one time, maybe closer to 50. And I flip the bin to where the other side is a little shallower, so they can see the cards a little better. Last thing I want to talk about is the person that was selling right beside me to the left. This is probably one of the nicest individuals I've ever came across. It's a very nice man. Very nice man. He had a limp, and I felt a little sorry for him. Maybe he had a fake leg. Maybe he had a knee issue. I'm not sure. But I would hear the sound of something kind of like falling over, and then I would hear an accompanying, because he was accidentally knocking some things over. He had trouble walking. He did. And I let him use my power outlet. Actually, not mine, but the power outlet to the right of me, because there's very limited power outlets and he would come over sometime. He had an air compressor that he sold. He had some other things that he needed to plug in to sell. Just a very sweet guy. Very sweet guy. I had some stuffed animals for sale, and a little boy came up and he loved this penguin, and he bought this penguin. But the little boy didn't see to the left of me that this guy, this nice man, this motherfucker that was trying to undercut my business, had a bin of stuffed animals that he was giving to the kids for free. Hey, come on, I can't compete with free. So I was like moving my stuffed animals as far away as possible. I thought about taking the stuffed animals away and putting them in a trunk because, someone might say like, well, he has them for free and you want $2 each for these stuffed animals? Yeah, like he was resetting the market on stuffed animals. But again, like really sweet guy. So, I mean, what would I say, If a kid came by like, oh, yours for free too? I'm like, yeah, want a kid, want a kid. I winded up making a mistake, which if you're flea marketing, don't make this mistake. Don't look over at the table and just kind of bring up in casual conversation, hey, well, that's pretty nice what you got there for sale, or point to a specific item. Because there were some little wooden rocking chairs. And I guess I just wanted to say something nice because he was very friendly and whatnot. So I complimented those rocking chairs. And then towards the end of the day, he walked over with his sad limp. And earlier he said like, hey, you like them at $2 each. And I said, oh, I'm just kind of trying to sell things today, But towards the end of the day, this sweet guy came over and he put them down on the table and said like, you can have these. And I was like, it just kind of hit me on the inside. Just kind of like hits you in the feels, man. Like this sad man that with this limp brings these rocking chairs over to me. I'm like, oh man, do you not know what I have in the bank account, man? Oh man. Oh, what a heel I was. So I accepted the rocking chairs, but I offered him any one item on my table. I forget what he took. Wasn't anything too expensive, I think. But he liked what he took on the table, and I spotted something that I actually bought from him, which was a Black & Decker power drill. I might do a show off Saturday on it for, $30. I said, what you want for the power drill? He said, would you take 30? And it was kind of like dirty, but I cleaned it up, and it's a nice power drill. Has an extra battery to it. Also, now as at this moment, me and this fellow, we became friends. We became flea market friends. I complimented his truck, which was a relatively new, very nice Dodge Ram truck. And I asked him, hey, if you come across anybody selling, like an old beat up truck, I don't have a truck right now. And I mean, I really don't care about getting a brand new, shiny, nice truck and whatnot at the moment. I kind of want a truck temporarily to haul some stuff, specifically stuff to the flea market. And another reason I want a old beat up truck to take to the flea market is, the fact that you're parking close to other people and there's always a possibility somebody might be unloading their vehicle. I don't even want to say it because it might jinx it and something like that might happen. But that's the reason that I want to get a vehicle that would be a little better set up for the flea market. Maybe an old beat up truck. And then I could get like a back tonneau cover on it, something like that, But yeah, overall a good day at the flea market.